Hey everyone, Travis here at the end of day 4 of All-Stars, joined by Nicholas Allen of Riot Games.
Nick Allen to some people.
Those enemies. We're here to discuss All-Stars because that's an event that is finishing right now, so it's relevant to discuss that in this interview. Nick, what is an All-Star to you?
It is a very good player. It is the opposite of Travis Gafford.
It's
Set him up and I'll just knock him down.
an All-Star interviewer, yeah?
Let's move on.
Well, we're off to a great start. Just like every interview I do with Nick Allen. Anyway, talk to me about the event from Riot's perspective, because obviously we've heard like the fans seem to really like it. I thought it was okay. What was the Riot perspective?
Yeah, we wanted to capture, there was a big hunger for international play, and we wanted to help satisfy that, but we also wanted to bring in some components of last year's All-Star game with the fan vote, and just like that fan participation engagement, and just overall fun, which is the challenge mode that we saw. And we weren't totally sure how it was going to go and how it was going to be received, especially mixing the two of like the really competitive games with the challenge. But man, it was really awesome. After the Earth mode the first day, I was like, all right, what if we just cancel the tournament? We'll do Earth mode the entire weekend. It was really fun. The fans really loved it, and they put up a really good show. It seemed like the players were having a good time.
Yeah, speaking of that, have you guys heard anything from the players on what they thought of the event so far, and maybe specifically even the All-Star Challenge matches?
It seems like everyone's just talking about how crazy the fans are with like the Pantheon chants and like the happy birthday and everything. Yeah, it seems like they're having a lot of fun. There's some language barriers which make it a little bit challenging, and it's funny talking to Doublelift on the first day. He said, or on the second day rather, he's like, I thought this was gonna be fun, and then they started to try hard, and this got serious. So it seemed like throughout the tournament, everyone wanted to level it up and just get really, really competitive. So it's cool that they started to take it really seriously, and then also playing along with the things like Team Fire played Annie and Brand, and then the Arctic skins on Team Ice. So I think it's just overall they're having a good time and they're having fun with it too.
Now, one of the things that I've sort of picked up over the course of this weekend is, I mean, obviously I was in Shanghai last year and all these different events, but this is the first time where I've really started to realize how all these little microcosm ecosystems exist in esports. Like France has their own casters, their own personalities, their own fans, their own players. Like it's almost like a mini like LCS feeling or something about it, and a mini little thing like what we see in the broader perspective of the West. Is that something that you kind of see as well? And do you think that, I'm curious about how Riot is looking at serving these little communities like this? Yeah,
we're still trying to figure out the best way in like an esports capacity, how to best serve the fans. I think the first step is engaging them with like at the caster level, and you can hear like how engaged they are. And it's actually a pretty cool situation where like we have the English casters that are casting through the games, but then we hear these crazy fans being like just encouraged by the French casters too. So like that's a really cool situation. Overall, we're taking a step at a time and trying to figure out how to best cater to these individual regions. But I think what we have learned a lot about is like how diverse the fans are. Just like we have the different play styles in the game, like we have the different characteristics of like the crowds too, and that's such a cool thing. So it's hard to say like where exactly we're going with like helping out the individual regions in Europe specifically, but what we do know is they come out in droves, and like they really want to. They have a big hunger for this stuff, and that's really cool.
I've been asking some of the players and some of the teams that are here, like, is there anything that you will be taking away from this event, from like playing against everybody that, for future events or going back to your LCS or your OGN or whatever? For you, I'm curious if there's anything at All-Stars that you guys putting on the show and running the whole tournament and everything are learning that you want to maybe take away and bring into the rest of the season.
That's a really good question. I think fan engagement has been a really, really cool aspect of this tournament, and it's really, I think, helped with just fans being like emotionally involved, because they got to pick so many of the people that are here, but on the other side, they get to also see this really competitive side too. So I think walking away, just like thinking of different ways to engage the fans and get them more involved in like the day-to-day broadcast of the LCS. I know that we have like the Twitter voting and that sort of thing, but I think there's a big opportunity to do a lot more related to that. I think that's one of the big key things. That and French fans are nuts and awesome, and just really cool. Yeah.
Something along those lines is that we saw recently you guys did like the Earth thing with C9 and TSM, and then here there's a lot more as well, like the All-Star Challenge, kind of like a more fun element. compared to like the really awesome but still super structured like LCS stuff. Are you guys looking at this and sort of thinking like maybe more fun kind of things as well alongside the LCS?
We don't want to force it. I think that's the key thing. So it's finding the opportunities to do these cool things. I think the Earth mode was amazingly fun, and I think we're seeing that this is fun too. But we don't want to just. I think part of the reason it's fun, we don't see it too often. We don't want to like oversaturate with just fun modes. And you know, at its core, the LCS is all about the highest level of competition and really leveling up the teams there to get also prepared for Worlds and the competition there. So I think we're going to continue to look for opportunities to do cool things like this going forward.
My buddy Nien on Twitter recently talking about how hyped he thought the 1v1 and 2v2s are, and how he almost thought it would be kind of cool to see that every now and then, maybe not all the time, but every now and then in the LCS. Any thoughts on doing more fun things with 1v1s, 2v2s?
Yeah, there's a delicate balance of doing these cool challenges in the 1v1s and 2v2s and not taking away from practice time and like what it takes to be really competitive in the LCS. So I don't know. We've learned a lot from this event about how cool it is to do those things, and I think we will look again for more opportunities. But there is that balance that we want to strike, and so we'll be navigating and figuring out how to do that.
What are your thoughts on just once again, like we're seeing Korea dominate, all these different ecosystems coming together, having their own, having their one team representation here, and sort of showing like the differences between where all the different regions are at. Any thoughts or comments on sort of what we're seeing here again with China Korea final similar to Worlds?
I think there was an expectation that Korea was going to be really dominant, in this tournament, and I mean, we're in the third game of the finals right now as we're standing here doing this interview, and I have a feeling SKT is probably winning because they were ahead when we came in here. But I think there was a lot of unknown. You didn't know how strong China was going to be. You didn't know how strong Europe and the Taipei Assassins were going to look as well. So I think that's one of the cool things about again, like not doing too many international events, but doing some every now and then. There leaves some unknown, and it leaves a lot of mystery around this. And again, we're going to leave here, and it seems like Korea is dominant, but we didn't truly know, and I think that's a big takeaway for me.
NA LCS is going to kick back up in about 10 days or so. I was really excited about possibly staying in Paris for a while, but then I looked at the schedule and realized that whoever was in charge of that kind of thing just like didn't allocate like very much space or break or time for any of the players or the press or anyone to really relax. And so, yeah.
Who would do that? I have no idea.
I can't know either. But anyway, so it's starting back up, but it's going to be a very, very different NALCS than the one we just ended. Any thoughts on our hopes or expectations, dreams for you on NALCS's split?
The changes are very interesting, the roster changes specifically. I really don't know what to expect. TSM, who's been dominant for a very long time, Audwin's been on that team for a very long time. That's a really big change.
Special as well.
Special as well, yeah. I can't forget about that. But I don't know how they're going to do. And CLG, bringing in Seraph right now, I don't know if he will be a permanent member of the team, but that's a really big unknown as well. So I think that's the most exciting thing for me, that all these teams are going full force and making these drastic changes to get ready for Worlds. And it just shows how serious they're taking it, but also the necessary steps to get to a point where you can compete at the highest level. So I think as the NALCS continues throughout the split and we get to learn more and more about these players, it's exciting to see how they develop and grow and how they'll do in the global landscape at World Championship.
Well, everything is going crazy outside. I think both of us probably want to catch the end of that game. Anything you want to say to any of the fans out there that watched AllStars, tuned in, or came here?
Just thanks for tuning in, guys, and we always appreciate your feedback. We get a lot of stuff on like the whole esports Twitter. Just keep watching, keep being huge fans, because that's what we love you for, and we'll do our best to keep making cool and exciting tournaments like the All-Star Game.
Thanks so much for the interview, Nick. As always, some part pleasure, some part pain. You can check out the rest of our coverage of all things All-Stars at ongamers.com.